What's going on, everybody? I just want to share a quick testimony and or word of encouragement. So recently I've been seeking, to be more obedient in the things of God. They're saying heal the sick, preach the gospel. So I've been really putting a lot of focus in that area as far as healing the sick because I already preach. So just coupling those two things together. And God has made a lot of gains in that area in my life. It's still a lot more growing to do. But, as I'm growing in that, I want to be able to grow in all the gifts, all the workings of God, because, I don't want to be in the gospel and deny the power thereof. And the power of God is just there's so many things that incorporates, right? So I was here at the job, and there's a lifeguard here. And as I was walking by, I'm asking the Lord in my head, not even out loud, like, Lord, give me a word of knowledge for this lifeguard, about something dealing with this lifeguard. And so a little bit of time passes, maybe a few minutes, and in my head, it just popped in like, okay, she just saw somebody this week. I believe it was Saturday, but I just rounded it to this week. She just saw somebody this week that's from out of town, that she's worried about, that she hasn't seen in a while. And so I'm like, oh, that's pretty vivid. And I'm taking into account, I have a vivid imagination. You know what I mean? I draw, I write little short stories and everything. I have a vivid imagination. But we have to stir up the gifts, right? And we have to not be afraid to step out on faith and take a risk. So she's sitting over there with another lifeguard, and I roll up on her and I ask her, like, I got a weird question to ask you. She's like, all right. I'm like, this past week, have you seen somebody that you haven't seen in a while from out of town, and you're worried about them? And she got a weird look on her face, and she looked at the other lifeguard, and she's like, well, let me ask why first. I'm like, no, just answer it, I'll tell you why after it. And so her and the other lifeguard talked a little bit, and they said a specific name, and I said, you're worried about them? And she's like, yeah, all right. So I'm like, well, don't be. And I told her why. It's simply because I'm practicing. I explained that the gifts and abilities, how they differ, right? Like, I have a gift to being able to draw. Nobody ever had to teach me how to draw. I never had to take a class on learning how to draw. I have that gift. But drawing can be learned. Like, my son doesn't know how to draw, but he can learn how to draw. I can teach him. You know what I mean? But he has to pull up to the table, put the paper out, pull the pen out. And he has to try this thing. He has to be willing to step out and risk his picture looking stupid, his picture looking foolish. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to share that testimony because, we have to get past our own pride. I still have to get past areas of pride in my life, right? Not that I'm living in them, but who wants to look stupid when they're stepping out on faith, especially when they're stepping out on things pertaining to the Lord, right? You want to be accurate. You want to be hitting the mark every time. You know what I mean? But when we're moving and we're trying to grow, then sometimes we might mess up. Sometimes we might miss it. But God, even if we do miss it, God can work that to our favor, because now I'm growing. Okay, this was off, but okay, let me not get discouraged. Let me keep pressing in this thing, because I believe the Lord answers my prayers. You know what I mean? So that's just something that hopefully encourages you to step out on faith and try to experience God even more, because when he desires to work through us, and Acts, it said, look, the Lord worked with them in the things that they did, right? So he desires to work through us. It's like as I was saying to somebody earlier last week, he wants to co-labor with us. He gives us the opportunity to experience things pertaining to him and co-labor with us. So prayerfully, this has been a blessing to you, as it's definitely been a blessing to me. All right. Until next time, be blessed.